Alright people on the internet, welcome back to another one. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Royce Lee, and over this past weekend I had a dope and great opportunity to work with a friend that I've known for the past 3 years. And I've been searching for this guy for a long time just because I'm very particular a person. If you haven't guessed already, that's my barber Luis. So in today's video, I'd like to show you the B-roll we made together, which is also on his Instagram, and I'll have that somewhere like around here. So today on my channel, we're going to be breaking down some of the transitions as well as how we filmed and edited this video. But first, I want to say that Luis has been my barber for I think 3 years or a little bit more than that. This guy's been really encouraging me in terms of his words as well as support, sharing my content, and I just want to say that Luis is much more than just a barber. This guy is extremely talented, super dedicated, and just a pleasure to work with overall. You know, this whole experience this past weekend was just so fun and fantastic that, for lack of better words to describe it, it was just dope. So I'm super excited and super pumped to share this video, so I'm gonna stop talking and show you the video as well as some cool transitions, so please enjoy. Alright, so that barbershop sequence is a lot of fun to film, so I really hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it for you. Now in our previous video, I already went through a more detailed editing breakdown, so in this video I like to go through the video frame by frame, talking about the thought process as well as just how I edited these clips together in order to achieve the seamless transitions you saw previously. So first off, I think what helps me the most in creating these seamless transitions is a storyboard. Not only is this helpful just to create for yourself, but I think it's just really good to have for your client as well. Just to let them envision what the video that you're envisioning for their story. You don't have to have everything down to the T, you don't have to write every single down, don't have to draw every single thing. But I think if you can at least have some clips written down that you really want to have, whether it be a notepad on your phone, that would help so much more in post so you don't have to regret anything, as well as just have a giant headache of how to transition from one clip to another. Alright, so let's get started. So the video of course opens up with the client walking into the barbershop and the barber is happily waiting to cut his client's hair. So the whole purpose of this clip is to introduce the topic of the video. But not only that, I kind of wanted to describe and just show the vibe that you're getting for this barbershop, as well as just introduce the whole entire environment that you see in this video itself. And as we continue and we play through this, you'll notice that the clip ends off with the camera lens getting flicked by the cape. Now, the important thing here is that the cape quickly fills the whole entire frame. And as we continue to click through, you'll notice our next scene immediately starts with the client in the chair ready for his haircut. Now, this is more of a hard cut, but because the cape quickly fills the whole frame, only a little bit of motion blur was needed in order for a seamless transition to be achieved. After I followed the client and orbited around the client to show his current hairstyle, I panned downwards to the rightwards direction to follow the next movement I wanted for the next scene. And as you can tell, the movement from the orbit and the next scene is panning through the barber gear isn't completely fully in sync. Now, that previous scene was moving from a rightwards downward motion, while the next scene of the barber gear is more of a diagonal rightwards motion. So, in order to seamlessly transition from one to the other, I applied some motion blur in between the shots to allow the scenes to blend together more smoothly. And at this point, I started to punch in a bit using keyframes in post. And as soon as he grabs the buzzer, the camera follows the motion towards the client in the leftward direction. This helps a lot because if you follow the same direction, where you came from in the previous scene to the next, you'll get this. If you go back and forth, you can see his shirt acts as a good point to transition to bring the buzzer to the client's head and in order to start this fading process. So the next scene is during the mid process of the fade, and these two shots were honestly quite challenging to pair because we have an upward motion here and a rightward motion here. And obviously these two motions clash with one another and don't really make a seamless cut, which is exactly why I use this overlay, which is a film burn overlay, to cover that frame in order to hide that cut. And this could be overused at some points, but I felt like this was the most suitable time to use such an effect. So a fun fact here actually is that my gimbal actually started to malfunction on me, just because I didn't actually calibrate it in the beginning correctly when I changed into my gimbal. This actually, luckily enough, was for my benefit and my own favor because it allowed me to use this type of upward motion that it caused into the next scene for the spray bottle being sprayed into the air. As a scene for after the barber using the scissors, I decided on using hard cuts from a little bit more because, and obviously no pun intended, to make the transitions later on in this video more effective and more dramatic. As a result, this next scene also uses a fade to black transition. However, in this next scene, I use the foregrounds to fill the frame, and with the same motion of moving rightwards, it allowed me to use the focus reveal method to orbit around the client, meaning I was able to blur in the beginning and then get into focus of what I wanted for the subject. Now, the purpose for this was to show you where the process of this whole entire haircut we are in, and I wanted to just show you how nice the haircut looks so far. Now, to follow the same motion and feel, I wanted to use this method again to fill the frame, since the next scenes are to cut the client's hair. And as you already know, I really like these shots the best. For some reason for me, it's just so different from the rest, from anything in the whole entire video and story, and it just adds more flavor. And for here, in this case, I put my camera inside the hot towel container and it closed in order to fill the frame in black to transition in the beginning from the previous scene to my barber grabbing the camera out of the container. And again, to make this transitions following the scene more effective, slightly filling the frame with his hand, grabbing the camera, allowed me to use another hard cut transition in order to transition to the next scene, which is the barber applying the hot towel onto the client to prepare for his beard for the straight razor. And for this scene, I actually was able to punch in 120% using keyframes in post with the previous video, and surprisingly enough, this actually it looks the same almost from this shot to this shot. Like, it looks exactly the same. So in my benefit, I didn't have to do much. There wasn't too much motion blur at all. It was very seamless in my opinion, and it allowed me to transition very smoothly. So just like in my previous video, I keyframed and masked to seamlessly transition to reveal the full haircut. And in this case, what I masked was using his arm to wipe across the whole entire frame, allowing you to see the whole entire client's haircut in its full glory. Now, transitioning from this shot was definitely an interesting one because I wanted to use the focus reveal method one more time in a similar way. And instead of orbiting around, I locked onto that perspective first, and then I orbited to the left to display more of the client's fading haircut. And that allowed me to transition a lot better because I was able to reverse it, leading me to the next and last scene of the shot, which is the barbershop logo. And after that, I put the clip into reverse and applied one of the most common and I guess quote unquote amateur transitions people can use. And that's the crossfade. I used to use this method a lot in my PowerPoint slideshows that I had to do for school in the past, and it's the easiest way to go from one slide to the other. And you don't really see that too often in this video production area. But for me, I felt this was a very good practical application for this plugin transition right here. And I felt like this was a very effective way to end the video. It was very calming, it wasn't such a whoa moment, and it was in my opinion, it was very seamless, and it felt smooth enough because it allowed me to end the video with his logo as well as seamlessly make the video end very calmly. And that's it, that's the video. Now, there isn't a ton of things going on in terms of transitions, Most of them are filled to black in both shots, whether that's ending in black and starting the next scene in black. Now, we have a lot of those pre and post added camera movements where we pan left, pan right, tilting up and tilting down, zooming out and zooming in. Of course, we have those shots that are just plain hard cuts that kind of die down the whole entire action a bit, but using all these types of methods really allows you to make seamless transitions and makes the process a lot more smoothly. One thing I think that makes the video, or any video in fact, more smooth and more, I guess, immersive and the better experience per se, is sound design. I believe sound design, whether it's a whoosh, a sound effect of a buzzer, or whatever it may be, it makes the video more smooth, it makes it more fun, it makes it more enjoyable, and ultimately it kind of enhances those clips a lot more and allows the story to be more immersive. It's like you're already at that barbershop. So without further ado, I want to show you what this video looks like without any sound design. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. It really means a lot. If you haven't already, feel free to hit that subscribe button in order to follow my videography journey, in order to create the beautiful things and the most ordinary things in life. And if you haven't already also, feel free to follow me on my Instagram page at _RoyceLee in order to be notified as well as to see what I'll be posting next onto this channel. And until the next one, God bless.